Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments,
5 minutes with the G,
the Straight Shootin View,
coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content
and audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor,
Spotify
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook
and www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now. I can see you now and then. I can see you now.
Welcome to
the Straight Shootin View.
Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Straight Shootin LJA and welcome to another episode of the Straight Shootin View. Now, this episode of Straight Shootin View is going to be a little different because the subject matter is going to be a little different. Because similar to my Straight Shootin View top picks episodes, I'm going to be talking about gaming. And the reason I'm going to be talking about gaming is because EA Sports and FIFA are actually going to break away from each other. So, bit of the backstory. Since 1993-4, basically FIFA and EA Sports have obviously been collaborating to produce the FIFA series of games, from FIFA International Soccer right up to, well, present day with FIFA 21, 22, among others. So this is actually quite a big shift. But EA Sports are going to break away and do their own game called EA Sports FC, and FIFA remains to be seen whether they release their own game or not, but they probably will. But there's two angles to come at this from. One angle is that looking at the example of Pro Evolution Soccer. Now, Pro Evolution Soccer, for those who know, before 2001 was called International Superstar Soccer. On my Straight Shootin View top picks, I had International Superstar Soccer, aka ISS 98, as one of my top picks for non-FIFA games. I'll let you watch the video on youtube.com/pitch talk and see where it placed. But it is one of them where, to me, it kind of revitalized the series, because ISS 98 was amazing, but then after that, there wasn't really anything in the kind of Western territories, because International Superstar Soccer / Pro Evolution Soccer, from what I know of it, has never changed its name from Winning 11 Soccer out in the Far East territories like Japan, China, among others. So it was only in the Western world where the branding changed. And as I said, it seemed to revitalize everything, because all of a sudden, Pro Evolution Soccer in 2001-2, it was one of them that became the game that everybody was playing. Up until I think about, PES 3 or something like that, where everybody was like, oh my god, this new game, and it's like, dude, this is ISS, just under a different brand name. So, if anything, EA Sports FC, some people are predicting it to be the death knell for EA Sports, which it won't be, because at the end of the day, they've got the Sims franchise, which is absolutely massive. So this will not be the death of EA Sports. It really won't. They've got the Madden franchise, they've got the NBA franchise, NHL, they've got so many other franchises. Yes, football's their biggest one, but this is not going to be a death knell for EA Sports. It really won't be, losing the FIFA licensing. And bearing in mind how popular ISS 98 was as a game without the official FIFA licensing, because it took them years to get it. I think it wasn't until, PES 2 or 3 that they got the official FIFA licensing so that they could use the real names and real club names and real player names. And it didn't hurt their popularity, because Merseyside Red and Merseyside Blue, we knew who they both were. Renarid, we knew who that was. Roberto Larcos, we knew who that was. So it didn't hurt the popularity. And look at the first, FIFA International Soccer didn't have real names either. And that was a very popular title. So I think a lot is being made of this breakup. It's not as if it's like when FIFA and Ballon d'Or, when that broke apart. Because the Ballon d'Or looked fixed for a while anyway, so it kind of took away from its own credibility. But with this, I think it's one of them where, as long as EA Sports FC keep the game engine, then it doesn't matter what name you put on top of it. Because as long as you got the same game engine, as long as the gameplay is the same, it really doesn't matter. Comparison we've got there is WCW NWO World Tour and WCW NWO Revenge. And then when Aki took their gaming engine, and then eventually the WWF ended up signing a deal with Aki after the Acclaim deal ran out, and it was a case of you saw the Aki game engine being used for WWF WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy. Now, I don't think anybody back then in the early 2000s were saying, oh my God, it's going to be the end for Aki if they lose the WCW deal. Because WCW Revenge still holds up as one of the greatest wrestling games of all time. And that was released in 1998. So it's one of them where it's like, and also Aki ended up producing the Def Jam wrestling games as well. Def Jam Vendetta and Fight for New York. So I said, as long as you've got the gaming engine, as long as EA retained that, which it's theirs anyway, because all FIFA own is just the names, the player names and that kind of thing. It is one of them. I mean, who's to say that EA wouldn't be able to say to FIFA, all right, cool, we'll buy the rights to be able to use real player names, all the kits and all that, and then have no trace of the word FIFA in there, apart from to say, oh, it's the world governing body, but not put it on the games and just call it EA Sports FC. Who's to say that won't happen? So as I said, for people saying it's going to be the death knell for EA Games, you're barking up the wrong tree. Because I said Aki did pretty well with the game, with their wrestling games, where that switch was made from WCW to WWF. So as I said, the gameplay and the gaming engine, that's what keeps people engaged. That's what gets people hooked in. People might see the FIFA name and be like, oh, that's cool. But as I said, look at Pro Evolution Soccer. Doesn't have the FIFA name slapped on the game title, but it's done very, very well. And it always has. And it pretty much always will at this point. So it's going to be very interesting to see what FIFA do and if they release a game themselves and how well that does. Because obviously it will have the FIFA branding and everything official will be in-house. But it'll be interesting to see which developer and which gaming engine they end up acquiring. Because it's very easy to release a poor football game. Straight Shootin View top picks. I picked some of my top non-FIFA games and my top FIFA games. But I did mention games like FIFA 2001 and 2002 that I thought were poor. So it's very easy to produce poor football games. European club soccer, brutal, among others. There are a lot of really poor ones. So, as I said, it is a case of as long as EA Sports FC can keep that gaming engine, keep it the same, all they need to do is really tweak the branding. So I don't think EA Sports and FIFA breaking up, as it were, is as big a thing as people are making out. I don't think it's going to hurt EA Games that much. Even their EA Sports branding, I don't think it's going to hurt them that much. It's just removing the FIFA name from the title. So as long as they get their marketing right, then I think they'll still be good. But what do you think? I want to know what you think about FIFA and EA Sports breaking up. What's your thoughts on it? Do you think it's going to be the end for EA Games? Do you think FIFA are going to release a game or release games, a gaming series in its place? What is going to happen? Is it going to change the landscape of football and games forever? Remember, www.pitch-talk.com is our official website. YouTube.com/Pitch Talk for the videos. At Pitch Talk on Twitter and Instagram. Tweet with us, follow us, see what we're up to. Facebook.com/Pitch Talk as well. Also, Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Ghana, GAANA out in India. Also, TuneIn Radio, Verbal, VURBL.com. We're Verbal Ambassadors and proud of it. That is, well, just a handful of places you can find our content. I've been Straight Shootin LJA, and until next time, keep gaming, peeps, and enjoy those FIFA games while they last. Nah, I'm only kidding. Take care, peeps.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution.
Check out the official Pitch Talk website.
www.pitch-talk.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
Including special feature segments.
5 minutes with the G.
the Straight Shootin View,
Coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content.
and
Audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor.
Spotify.
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram.
Facebook.
And www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now.